Thanks for tuning in. I hope you. Welcome to NothingisOB South Texas Golf Podcast with your host, Andy Torres. All right, guys, thanks for tuning into the show. Got a great one for you tonight. Got a little disclaimer right here. The views or opinions expressed by the host and guest may or may not be shared by the sponsor supporters. Listen at your own discretion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I got a banger tonight for you. I got my boy Michael Bradham from the APGA Tour. He's a Blackbird ambassador. Thanks so much, Mike, for being on the show.
Hey, how's it going, Andy? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, super excited, man. I'm really curious to hear a lot about your story, especially one of our own professional golfers that we have here in San Antonio, a Judson, formerly a Judson Rocket, or once a Rocket, always a Rocket, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. That doesn't go away.
Yeah, no, man, especially for football. Being a football coach, man, I hear who was it? Mike Jenks, all right? I think one of the football coaches, and man, he's always talking about that. He always talks about that Rocket pride, man, and I guess it never leaves, right?
No, I was there during the Rackley years, and he preached that walking around the hallways.
Oh, man, shoot. Hey, you know what? I'm a little guy, man, and you know what? That dude, he had a lot of fire, man. It was always so intense, and I loved hearing him speak whenever, because I felt like at any given moment he was gonna pop a blood vessel or something.
Yeah, that's about right.
Well, thanks so much, man, for being on the show. I appreciate it. I'm really curious to hear about a lot about your story and about, why don't you go ahead and kick things off and let us know, where did the game of golf really start for you?
Really, it didn't start at a young age. I was playing football, basketball, and baseball in middle school, and I just got to, once football season was over, I was like, man, I want to do something else. And they had tennis tryouts, they had golf tryouts coming up, and I tried them both. Made the team for tennis. Didn't really care for it too much. It felt more like baseball, and I just started hitting balls over the fence for no reason. Then golf tryouts came around. My dad played he's been playing for years, but I've just never gone with him. Had tryouts, got out there, made a team, and all of a sudden I was hooked. And it was the one game that I couldn't just be good at it off the bat. So it was something I had to work at, and it definitely kept me hooked for a long time.
Now graduated in 2007, and I know I saw, if I'm not mistaken, Prairie View A&M, right?
Yes.
Okay. And did you play there as well?
I did. I was there on a golf scholarship. I sat out my first year for transfer rules, because I actually stayed in San Antonio and went to St. Philip's for a year. Went back to basketball for that one, got hurt, and Pops was like, nah, you're going back to golf. So I went back to golf and got a golf scholarship at Prairie View.
Now, how did that go, being in the conference there along with Prairie View A&M?
It actually was really interesting, because my mom's from Louisiana, and so I already knew about Grambling and Southern. And I mean, at that time, Prairie View was losing football games left and right. So a lot of people weren't really talking about Prairie View too much. But I had a teammate of mine that lived in Austin, came down, and we played golf together, and kind of told me the ropes and everything about Prairie View. And I fell in love with it. My mom was hooked because her favorite color is purple, and their colors are purple and gold. Campus was nice. So I really just want to get there and just play golf. That way I can keep moving towards my goals.
Now, where did all those goals to play golf at a higher level, or to play at like a professional level, where did all that start? Did you see that I guess that you were able to play at such a high level early on, or it was just the love or a passion for the game?
For me, it was really any sport that I played, I wanted to play professionally. Whether that was basketball, football, baseball, golf. I'm not a stranger to putting in the work to getting better, and golf was definitely one that I had to put in that work. I actually, coming out of high school, I was actually terrible. my first tournament, which I'll never forget, I shot 137 at almost. And
Oh shit! Oh damn!
yeah, I tell that story all the time. That's a big day for me. It's one that helps me understand where I came from, and knowing what I do now. It shows me how far I've come in that time. So yeah, just for me, it was just I wanted to play something professional, whatever it was. My dad was drafted by the Phillies for baseball. He played all kinds of sports growing up, so it was definitely one of those things in the household. If you're gonna do something, do it to the best of your ability.
Now, what do you think it's about golf that I guess makes it a little bit different from the other sports that you've played?
It's all me. There's no other way to skin that cat. It's all you. When you step on the tee box, there's no one else that can save you. I mean, you can have teammates in football. You jump off sides, they can pick you up on the back end. But whatever happens in golf, that's all you.
Now, at your time at Prairie View A&M, did you think being at a HBCU was going to be your way into getting into pros or getting into that higher level or that higher echelon golf? Because it's not the easiest path, as you've seen right now.
No, not necessarily, because I knew that you did. I mean, for a lot of guys, you don't have to go to college to play professional golf. The big thing in college, you do want to play against some good competition and play against good courses. So for me, if I could go out and at each tournament and win, my goal obviously is to win every tournament, but also just to keep improving. Like, I mean, that's pretty much the game. They keep learning, keep improving, and whatever you shoot's what you shoot.
So who are your rivals when you were in college?
Ooh, Texas Southern. That
Oh,
is a huge one.
TSU.
Yeah, we're separated by like 44 miles or something like that. So it's all love once all the guys are all together and we're playing our tournaments and everything. But that was one that we couldn't stand to see above us on the leaderboard.
was there some shit talking going on or what?
A little bit. I mean, they had some guys that definitely could go. Devon Robinson, who also plays on the APGA. They had a team that was definitely a challenge for us. But even while we were there, Jackson State and Alabama State were the two top teams that were winning the conference championship a lot and stuff like that. So
now, what was your biggest takeaway that from playing in a HBCU conference that because golf is, and you see it all the time, especially formerly working at a golf course, is that it is a predominantly white man's game. And I think one of the things that I saw when I was at your tournament at the Tour Championship there at TPC is that anybody can go low, anybody can play.
absolutely. For me, being at Prairie was just that there's other guys like me that can play, like you're saying. John Montgomery, you see him on the Golf Channel now. He was one of the guys at Alabama State. Clay Myers was on the Big Break. There's quite a few guys in the SWAC that could go low, and those guys are still playing. Even the guys that I've met this year in my first year on APGA, like they're sticks, and you got to be ready. You can't just walk up there and think you're just gonna win if you don't put in the work. And those guys are definitely working to do what they can.
Now I know you're recently coming off of like a big break professionally, and now getting back, and like you stated, this is your first full year in the APGA. What has been some of maybe the biggest struggles or the biggest things you've had to overcome this season?
For me, and this kind of goes back to me continuing to build on my confidence. My confidence is one of those things that I've struggled with a little bit this year. I had a certain criteria that I had to meet in order to get my full tour card with APGA. And the first tournament so hot, but my second tournament turned around and finished second, and that got me my full status. And I didn't really play well the next 3 or 4 events after that, and I think I just kind of just started feeling like, man, is this really what you want to do? And I had to put my head back down and realize you got to get it out the soil, man, put in the work, and those things would come. So once we got the TPC San Antonio's home tournament for me. But even the first 13 or so holes for that tournament didn't play well, but kept my head down and turned it around and ended up with a good finish.
Yeah, man, you really got to cook it, and it was awesome to see you kind of get into that groove. And I saw that shot you stuck on 16 right there on the first day, and on that par three with the donut green, and it just I don't know. I mean, I think it was like maybe like 4 or 5 feet away, and man, you really stuck one in there, and it was great to see that you had the most fans out there, and of course, being the hometown guy, and like you stated off air, like that was the tournament that kind of really showed you that you belong.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun fact: a lot of the people that came out, I had just met when I moved back to San Antonio. We all worked at Olympia together, so it was cool to have all of them come out. I don't think you were there second day. My dad came out, and that was his first tournament seeing me play as a professional. My wife and my mother-in-law both came out as well. So it was fun definitely having a large crowd out there and everyone getting to watch me play.
Yeah, and that's great. What did you think of the course conditions, especially dealing with the drought? I know that's something that I asked you when we were at the tournament. It's something dealing out here in South Texas, and especially in San Antonio. How did you think TPC San Antonio played for you?
I thought the course actually played pretty well for there not being a bunch of rain coming into it. I know they had punched the greens probably 3 weeks before or so the greens were still hilling a little bit. But I mean, I know from previous experiences that even without the little punch marks, those greens are hard to read to start with unless you have some course knowledge. So I actually played a practice round with one of my good friends, Jeff, who was a member out there for a while, and he gave me some good tips that I definitely put into play.
Now, what would you say is the biggest thing that I guess guys that have been doing this for successful for a while, like you have like Tim O'Neill, you have Montreal Wells, you have those guys that are that are making a career out of this. What do you think those are some of the things that they're doing that you can incorporate in your game?
Um, Leaving no stone unturned. Those guys are obviously putting in the work as far as hitting balls, working on short game, stuff like that. But they're also doing stuff off the golf course, whether that's going to see a sports psychologist or obviously nutrition and working out, physical fitness. Um, I mean, really just giving yourself every opportunity you can to succeed. I mean, that's that's definitely where the game has gone. Tiger's kind of done that for everyone, so it's no different for us guys out here on the mini tours as well.
Who do you think is the top dog right now from the APGA?
Well, I mean, you gotta go with the guy that won it all, Kamayu. I mean, he won the points. He won our tour championship. So I mean, he's the top of the pyramid right now.
What do you think about the cat that just won last week? I saw him. I know he was a Michigan State grad.
Yeah. So I actually played with Andrew in Kentucky at Valhalla. He had put together a good round. I think he shot 4 or 5 under the first round. Me, him, and Ryan Alford. We all played in the final group together. Uh, he didn't close the way that he would have liked, but one of the things that I definitely had talked to him about afterwards in passing was that you keep knocking on the door. At some point, you're going to kick it open. And there's a couple of guys that have been in that position this year, and they're going to end up kicking the door open. I hope to be one of those guys coming up soon.
Man, we're pulling for you so hardcore too, man. And what do you think it's gonna take? It's gonna take for the next big minority golfer to get there. The next African American to make it there. Because I know, yes, we have Tiger Woods, and you have Harold Varner the third. Who's the next guy that could potentially be the next one to break through and be a continual stayer on the PGA?
Honestly, I really don't know the answer to that, but I know a big thing that I think any athlete and any person uh, needs in their life is just to continue to support and the people let them know like, hey, like even though things didn't go well this time, you're still a hell of a player. Like you got to keep getting after it, and at some point you're gonna get over that hump. And I think there's going to be some guys that are on the tour now or on the APGA right now that have had experience playing PGA events and things like that. and at some point they're gonna get clear that hump and make it to the PGA Tour and do some big things.
What has been your biggest or best golf memory so far for being on the APGA Tour?
It was definitely that 4 and 5 birdie run at TPC San Antonio. First day, right before you showed up, actually, I was 5 over through 13. Made a crazy up and down on 14 from a not so fun spot, and just rattled off 4 in a row and almost made it 5, but didn't quite work out that way. But I mean, that was a turning point for me, and that was something that I'll definitely hold near and dear to my heart, because it showed me that even though you aren't playing the way that you expect to, you have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and just see where the dominoes fall at the end of it.
That was a hell of an up and down. That was a hell of an up and down par save that you had on 18, man. Shoot, you had I think you tried to go for the green in 2. You were off to the left, and I think you missed. You had a bad chip, right? I think you had a bad chip, and you were almost like in a swell on 18, right, or something.
Yeah, man. Full disclosure, I was not trying to hit that third shot into the water. That's probably why I left it short.
Oh, you didn't. You did.
No,
You didn't.
I sure didn't. I sure did not.
And seeing that, I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe I can play with Mike. I know. I was like, I know we played at Quarry out there, and I was the big breadwinner that day, and so I said, you know what?
Oh man. Man.
No, man. Okay, I'm telling you, right? So we played at the Quarry with a bunch of Blackbird ambassadors and a bunch of friends of Blackbird, and then Sean Sexton, big Sex, is like, what's your handicap? I'm like, I'm a 12.7. And then somehow or another, I took home all the money. And then I know he's calling people, trying to verify my handicap and stuff. And I'm like, dude, that's like my legit score. Because you know what? At Landa Park this past weekend, I shot a 95. And then people are looking at me and like, yeah, you're a 12.7.
It happened again. We played the Quarry again, and I shot 30 on the front side up the Quarry and still didn't take home no money.
Well, shoot, it's that index, man. Hey, trust me. Hey, you want to get your index down? Hey, come play with me. We'll get
that, I'll just stay where I'm at. I can't go back.
All right, Mike. So right now you're out of town right now. You're at the Oklahoma State Open. You're talking about that confidence that you're trying to build on, and I know the goal is always to win. I know that for golfers, the goal is always to win, or an athlete. You don't try to do anything half-assed or try to do anything without having that goal in mind. But what's the biggest takeaway you're hoping to try to get out of playing at the Oklahoma State Open?
Oklahoma State, it's a different group of guys. It's not an APGA event, so you have guys that are coming in from all over the country that are just accomplished golfers, just like I am. And I mean, their hopes are to make it to the PGA Tour as well. So this week for me, it's outside of building on the confidence, it's just other competition, another golf course that I'm trying to see some different conditions that I'm not used to. Bent grass greens, haven't played that a whole lot. So for me, it's really just continue putting stuff into my repertoire, into my memory bank that I can learn from and continue to grow from.
What do you think the toughest thing is about being on the APGA Tour, or being a golfer in a mini tour?
The toughest thing, I mean, for any golfer, travel is tough, but I think for many tours, it's having the funding to continue traveling. I mean, you get on a bad stretch at any point, and you could start counting the pennies, dwindling away, and you're not making anything. That's tough for anybody. It can drive the best players away from the game, and it's something you can't focus on. You just got to keep grinding away at it. At some point, what's due for you is going to come.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. I think the biggest thing is that I've seen and that I heard from. Luckily enough, I was privileged to hear the tour presentation and hear Ken and hear Cole talk about where the tour was and where the tour is now and where the tour is going. It seems like, man, there's so many freaking opportunities for y'all that are tied into these wins, and that you have tie-ins to some Corn Ferry possibilities, some Q school opportunities, and then getting spots at like Bahamas Open or Barracuda, and it seems like, man, that these guys are working really hard to have a great relationship with the PGA for y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Back in 2013, I actually played in one event that they had down at Tampa at Rogers Park. Man, that golf course was goat track. I'm like worst, like it was bad. Um, yeah, to see where the tours come since that one event I had, and listen to Montreal tell me about where the tours come. Uh, yeah, they're definitely doing a lot. They're definitely giving us a lot of experience and a lot of opportunity to play some top-notch golf courses to see where our games stack up. And that's something that all of us need, especially playing at HBCUs. You don't necessarily play the greatest golf courses all the time. So for all of us to get an opportunity to play courses that have held major championships or just PGA events in general, they're doing a fantastic job of giving us an opportunity to see where our games stack up.
And I heard that, and I'm just like, you know what? I said, because there were some things, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. There were some things that I did see that I wasn't a big fan of, that, being covering the Dell, covering the Valero Open, that I saw that I'm like, man, I said, it's tough that they put, some of their players in these positions. But at the same time, hey, the budget isn't very big either. And I think one thing that I would really love to help the APGA, especially if they come back here to San Antonio, is to get a lot more volunteers, man. I think that's one thing that it didn't seem like it wasn't out there. And I know that a lot of people who love the game, who love golf, who love to help other golfers, they love to be part of that. They love to be part of the part of the solution instead of the problem. And I know one thing that in seeing the APGA is that, man, is that they're trying to get you. They're trying to break down that door for somebody else, for that next guy. And they want that one guy to come through and not only just come through and do well and stay there, and to open the door for other guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely that's their whole mission statement. It's to basically give, I don't want to just say minorities, but to give people the opportunity to play golf and show their talent, and let's see how far we can take it. And that's what we're all playing for, and that's the ultimate goal for all of us, for sure.
Now, in playing on the APGA Tour, it's about giving opportunities. Well, I know you signed on with the great group of guys with the Monte and Thor and Blackbird. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that relationship that you have? Because it seems like, man, DeMonte is not only invested in you as a golfer, but as a person.
Yeah. So, I was just talking to DeMonte the other day, and I didn't know. I met him back in like 2013 or 14. He had just started playing. He had signed up with a range membership over at Olympia. We would chat every now and then whenever I saw him, and we just kind of hit it off from there. We played in the same Saturday group, Samga, and just hit it off. And I had moved away to Florida in 2016. We stayed in contact for the most part. I had stopped playing golf for a couple of years altogether when I was down in Fort Lauderdale. Then moved to Jacksonville, started playing again. And I got to a point where I was like, man, I kind of want to start doing something with apparel, because, like, there's got to be a way for me, like, to get the shirts that I want. Like, I'm 6'6". I get these little shirts when I bend down to put my ball in on the green, my shirt pop out in the back and the underwear hanging out and all that kind of stuff. So I was just trying to find something for me, man. Like, big dude. I'm not small. At that point I was 330 pounds. Like, I'm a big dude. So I was traveling to a amateur golf tournament, and I just saw, like, that morning DeMonte had posted about Blackbird online. So I was like, man, maybe I'll talk to him, see if he can give me some pointers on starting an apparel business, all that kind of stuff. And I got on the phone with him, and he was like, yeah, man, I'll help you out, or you can come with us. And I was like, well, I ain't got the money to start an apparel business, so I'm coming with y'all. So, fast forward like 6 months after that, I told him I was going to start playing professionally again, and he was like, hey, man, come with us, and we'll see how far we can take this thing. And so here we are.
it seems like he's been in your corner, and when he says he's going to do something, he does something. And
Absolutely.
it seems like sometimes as players, as athletes, a little belief in somebody goes a long way.
Huge. I can honestly say without him and Blackbird, there's a chance I won't be up here in Oklahoma right now. As those guys have helped me out. Monte has become more of a mentor to me. I call him and I'm complaining about something, and he's just kind of like, hey man, like, you ain't the only one out here got it rough. Shut up, put your head down, put in the work.
That sounds like him. That sounds like something he would say.
I mean, it's probably something that everyone says, but when you have someone with DeMonte's background and he says that, you shut up, put in the work. Because I mean, I don't know anyone else. He could have just gave up a long time ago with some of the stuff that he's been through, but he hasn't, and he won't. And I'm glad he's definitely in my corner.
And that's a great company, because I know they're all about it, opening doors, and about bringing people of different backgrounds together. And really, like we've been talking today, is just keep knocking, and being breaking down a lot of this exclusiveness that golf has, or the stuffiness, to where the golfer's changed now. It's not like 50 years ago. The golfer looks like you. The golfer looks like me. And it's not like, the golfer from just the Ben Hogan and, Sam Snead and Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicholson days. The golfer's changed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. You see offensive linemen in the NFL playing golf now. Like size, skin complexion, like it's nowhere near what it used to be. And that's good, because that's going to help further grow the game, which is one of the things that a lot of entities are talking about and want to do, is bring inclusion. So there's different ways of doing that. I'm sure still there's a lot of work to be done to bring some inclusion to some of the other areas that don't have accessibility to a lot of places. But that's one of the great things that Blackbird is trying to do, is bring that inclusion to some areas who golf ain't even on the forefront of their mind. The typical sports, basketball, track, football, those things. But a lot of people don't realize that golf is something that you can play forever. And there's a lot of business things in general that get done on the golf course. And the more kids that we can get introduced to the game, the better off it'll be.
Man, I'm a true believer in that golf, you learn a lot about yourself, especially when you're out there for 4.5, 5 hours with somebody. You learn a lot about them, and I think that's where a lot of the business deals used to happen, or it still do happen, is because you learn a lot about somebody. Are they going to take that double bogey they had? Are they going to lie on their scorecard? Are they going to improve that lie? Are they going to fluff that ball? Are they going to are they going to cheat? Are they going to replace the ball when you're not looking? And I think that's just, for me, why I started this podcast, is a way to just really get some of the time back I lost with my dad. And I think every time I talk about golf, he's right here with me. And I've always felt like my podcast is just kind of like, it's like a twosome or a foursome, right? It's an extension of the golf course. And so that's why I'm a true believer that man, you can learn so much just about how somebody responds to a bad shot, how they do when they're on fire, when they're on a hot streak, or do they play gimme golf? Are they crying about when you don't give it to them?
Yeah, you're right. You can learn a ton about someone just on the first hole, just how a person carries himself, how they believe in themselves, and those things are very apparent on the golf course, especially over the course of 18 holes. So, yeah, there's a lot of life lessons and a lot of personal self-reflection that happens on a golf course for sure.
Man, I like how you said that. I'm going to write this down here. I like that, personal self-reflection. I was like, man, I like that. That's true. You do, because sometimes you get lost, and I've spoken to so many golf people, and I think a lot of times when you do some things pure or not so pure, you kind of get lost in that moment. And I think that's like the beauty of golf, is that you can it's like a musician, playing that song, or like that MLB player that just finds that sweet spot, or even that DB that gets that pretty pick six, or it hits that nice crack, there's that nice crack block, or it's that nice hit right there. And you just kind of get lost in that moment. You get lost in that hit. You get lost when that sun is just coming down. And that's just, that's why I love this game.
Yep. That's the best part of all of it.
All right, let's get into some fun stuff, man. Favorite course here in town?
Oak Hills.
Hands down. I was there.
I love Oak Hills.
I was there on Sunday, man. I was there on Sunday. I love that place.
I'm a lone knocker, so Oak Hills is one of those courses you can't just go out there just bang and drive all over the place. And the greens have always, every time that I've played it, been in immaculate shape.
Oh.
So like you've got to golf your ball out there if you want to post a good number. So Oak Hills is hands down my favorite golf course.
Oh man, definitely, dude. I'm glad you said that because man, I love me some Oak Hills, and man, they got like the best snack station too, man. They're like at I guess where the holes meet, where it's like I guess 9 or 10, 8. So I think it's 7. I don't know, right? They got the best snack station. But they just got all the goldfish, they got the peanut butter, they got the crackers, and you know what? Hey, I like to eat, man. I'm a little dude, but you know what? I'm very wide, and so I didn't get there just by not loving snacks.
No, you're right. They got a pretty dope snack station right there. I'm thinking it's between like 3 or 4 holes too, so you can hit it up a few times going throughout the course.
Yeah, and that makes sense because why they don't have like a car grill out there, because they make it accessible, with at the end of the range. It's in between, like 7, 8, I think 13 and 12 and stuff like that. And oh man, don't get me started, man. I'm thinking about the snacks. That just lets you know where my mind's at right now. All right. Favorite golf memory that you've had so far?
Favorite golf memory. Favorite golf memory would be we were playing a golf tournament in college at Texas Southern. My dad came out. My birthday was that week, and we were on like a 220-yard par 3 or something. I was playing okay. I think I was like 1 over. Nothing crazy. I hit my tee shot. I didn't really like it. I was like, man, it's short. Like, just pick up my tee, walk back to my bag. My dad's like, I think that's in the hole. I'm like, man, no, nah. He drives ahead, goes up on the green, it's in the hole. I was like, my round's over. Nothing else is gonna happen. I doubled the next hole. I think I tripled the hole after that, and then bogeyed the other hole. And I finished like 79 or something like that. My day's made. Made a hole my first hole in one. I'm good to go.
That's right. Who cares about that 79, right? Who cares about you got that one on your scorecard?
Man, and I think I was turning 21 that later that week too. So yeah, I partied hard that week.
Okay. All right. So I played in this one event here in town, and this guy made a hole-in-one during the event, right? And it was a tour event for the Alamo City Golf Trail. And you know what? What's customary? Like when somebody makes a hole-in-one, what are they supposed to do? They're
supposed to buy drinks for the group, but these new waves of dudes talking about buying drinks for everybody in the group. Like, if you with a gaggle of folks.
Okay. So you know what? At least your group, right? Or when you come in, maybe, you come in to get recognized for the hole-in-one, you would buy at least, hey, you see 4 or 5 guys. Hey, buddy, let me buy you, right? Well, this guy didn't even buy a round of drinks. And I said, well, you know what? Like, hey, dude, that you broke the code, bro. Like you broke the creed, the rule of thumb is you have to buy some drinks, I mean, come on, dude. Like at least if not for your group, because that's one thing I asked him. I said, did you buy a round of drinks for your guys? No, I'll get it next time. And I said, no, there may never. That's not how that works. I was like, there may never be a next time.
That's not how that works. On spot, you gotta pull out that wad of cash, that credit card, whatever you gotta do. Go dig up change after the thing. Stop borrowing money. Whatever. You're supposed to buy the boys drinks. That's how it goes.
Favorite golf movie?
Legend of Bagger Vance. I am a huge Will Smith fan. So for him to be in that movie, and it also goes back to that personal self-reflection of golf. There was a lot of reflection that the main character had to do. And,
the Captain Junior.
Bagger was there to walk him through it just to find out. I mean, really, it's just self-belief and understanding who you are as a golfer, which, I mean, that's everyone goes through that at some point. So, but yeah, huge Will Smith fan, and Legend of Bagger Vance is definitely my favorite movie.
Do you like Will Smith because his name is Mike in Bad Boys? Is that really why you like him?
Funny story,
Mike
no,
Lowry.
but Bad Boys is definitely the first movie that I remember watching with him in it, and I learned that movie word for word. Just like I get so excited when the Bad Boys movies get released because I know I'm sitting down and I'm watching from start to end. I'm gonna start with the first one and work my way all the way up to that one's getting ready to show. That's my series. There's nothing else above that.
You know what, man? There's this girl like I used to date in high school, and she like she was Mexican, right? And she loved like I don't know why because all she dated was like black dudes, right? That's all she dated was black dudes, and then she messing with a little 5 foot nothing Mexican, and I'm like, I said, okay, somebody must have hurt you if you went from these extremes to this guy, you know what? And then she's like, she would always tell me, she goes, you know what? She would always quote, she loved Will Smith. She had a poster of Will Smith up in her room. She would always quote Independence Day and freaking Bad Boys. And she'd always be like, Marcus, and I'm like, well, do you think I'm like a Martin Lawrence type? She goes, yeah, you're like a Mexican version of Martin Lawrence. And I was like, man, Martin Lawrence is a bitch, man. Come on.
Oh dang. Oh dang.
And then I'm like this. You know what? Okay, point taken. All right. You know what? I'll take that. I'll take Martin Lawrence.
Hey man, you can't have Martin Lawrence. You can't have Bad Boys without Martin Lawrence in that movie. That man.
That's true.
They getting to sing the song. Bad Boys, Bad Boys.
Hey, have a coconut smile. Have a coconut smile.
Right. My favorite quote end of the movie when they're driving down the runway, and Marcus is finally driving the port, and Will Smith at the end is like, "From now on, that's how you drive. From now on, that's how you supposed to drive." Hype every time. Like,
hey, I'm telling you, man. Hey, I'm like, that's what I'm saying, dude. I know me some Mike and Marcus. You know what I mean? Come on, man. I love it. I guess one of the things we always talk about, because I have 2 daughters and then my buddy's got a daughter too, and they're
I can't wait. I know exactly what you I can't wait.
When it's like what does it say? Like, you're a grown ass man. I don't even know. You know all the words, man. So it's like,
man. Yeah,
tell me.
I got 2 girls too. So I got a buddy, my best friend Marlon. He watched Bad Boys with me. He's like, man, I can't wait for us to do this to your daughter. And the part you're talking about was when Reggie shows up to the door, and Martin opens up the door. Yeah, 15. Shit, you look 30. Man, you ever been with a man before? No. You want to? Have my daughter at the house by 9:30. And if she ain't here, you know what it's gonna be? Chitty chitty bang bang. Locked and loaded and hunting your ass down.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, right? Like you're ready though. Like you're ready. You're ready to go. You're already ready to act at that part.
Man, look, my little buddy, he's about 5'4", was a wrestler in high school. Like, ooh, it's gonna be so good.
Well, you know what? I'm 5'4", but I'm not a wrestler. But you know what? You know, my friends, I always say my friends like to call me Little Caesar because I'm always hot and ready. All right, I'm ready. I'm always ready to scrap. I can only go low because I can't go high.
Man, that sounds like my buddy. Man, that dude's firecracker, man. But
all right, Mike. All right, so tell me. What's one of the, maybe because you are, you're a mini tour player and you've played a lot of these cash games, what has maybe been the craziest cash game or craziest side game or side bet that you've been a part of in your career?
All right, so it was a foursome, me, my buddy Jeff, Will Griffin.
Will Griffin, yeah.
Just won the city tournament recently.
Yeah, one of the city's best amateur players. Former pro.
Yeah, former pro. Played Texas Tech, all that good stuff. Alamo Heights grad. And Mike Carnes. We were out at Olympia.
Was it Mike Carnes or was it Casey Carnes? It was
Mike Carnes.
Mike Carnes, okay. All right.
We were out playing at Olympia and we had good little money game going. Well, we were getting waxed because Mike was like 7 under through 8 or 9 holes. So we walk off of 9 and we're like, me, Jeff, and Will, we're looking at each other like, uh-oh, like we about to have to go dig into the bank account because he about to tear us up on the easy side. Man, when I tell you I'm pretty sure he shot 29 on the front. I tell you he shot like 42 or 43 on the back or something like that.
Left the door open. Left the door open.
Man, he left the house and just let us run through there. That was crazy to me. We talking about 59 and 58 because I mean, you get through 10 and 11 at Olympia, you can birdie 12, you can birdie 13, 14 at that point was a par 5, 15 is easy, 16 wasn't that hard because it wasn't blowing that much, 17's gettable par 5, and you make par on 18, you in the house. So we're thinking he's at least going to shoot 4 or 5 under on the back, and man, just didn't work out that way. Save me some money.
I'm not you know what, man? Like Sal's my boy. I like Sal. You know, Sal's my dude, and you know what? I hate Olympia. I've never shot well there. I've like ended up like losing my ass off, asking my wife to Venmo me some money and cash out my ass some money because you know what? I've never shot well there. And like I like how you say that, 15 of the wind's not blowing, or 16 if the wind's not blowing, 17 or the par 5 or 18. I'm like this. I'm over here. Hold on. I'm struggling on 16 because there's all the bunkers on the right. I always find 17. I'm trying to go for it in 2. I'm probably in the trees on the left. 18, you know what? I'll duff a tee shot into that little dry creek. I'm like, damn, or I'll catch it really good and I'll go into the water. I'm like, man, dude, I'm struggling already just thinking that. I'm having nightmares. I'm gonna have nightmares.
Man, you just didn't put your time in Olympia. That was one of the first and second courses that I started practicing at. So I've been going out there since I was 13. So you just got to put your time in, man. Figure out the course how it works for you.
How's it looking right now, man? Because I'm hearing so many things in regards to how Olympia looks right now.
So when I first moved back, which was 4th of July weekend, I'll be honest, like the greens were looking a little rough. But within about a week and a half, 2 weeks, they let the greens grow a little bit, and especially in the spots that were struggling a little bit. And the course turned around pretty quickly. Now, as of like Tuesday, they're supposed to punch. So I wouldn't be going out there within the next couple of weeks. But, I mean, the course is, everyone in San Antonio is hurting for water. So one of the big things for any golf course is being able to water it as much as you want, and obviously the amount of sunshine that's required for the course to grow the way it needs to. So I think even with those constraints being placed on the staff and stuff, I think it's in pretty good shape right now before they push it.
I mean that's a definite, and I do like the layout of it. It's a very challenging course, It's one that I know that I'm kind of limiting my bets because normally when I go someplace, I'm like, hey, 555, 555, yeah, 10, 10, 20, 20. I go there. I'm quiet. People trying to gawk at me and stuff, and I'm a talker, man. I'm a talker when I'm out there. That's the only way I can chop people down to size, man. Is I gotta get in their head, man. I gotta rattle them a little bit, because it ain't my game. My game's not rattling anybody.
Man, you sound like you need one of them courses you can spray it all over the place.
That's exactly what I need. That's exactly what I need. That's what I'm telling you, man. So right before we go into, because I'm a football coach, right? So I'm deep in. That's why we're recording this, because I got a game on Thursday night. I said, but man, right at 8 o'clock, hey, I got to put out another hot episode, and that's why I said, man, I need my man Mike to be on the show, right? And so that's why we're recording before, right? And so my golf season is like, it's over, it's done with. And I played Landa, and this past weekend I shot a 95 on Sunday. I shot a 95. I think I only had 3 balls left in my bag when I'm done. And I think 2 of them said range on the side. But that was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I shot a 73, my lowest ever at Alisation.
Okay.
And at Alisation, and I always tell everybody, hey, the blues were up. I said the blues were pushed up. I said I think it was only playing 5,900. I said, no, don't get me wrong, I'm not a crazy. I said I was, but it is. I made putts. Like I think I had so many 1 putts, and so that can be the big difference of scoring low or scoring high.
Yeah, I mean, well, my thing is, regardless of what tees you play from, you got to put the peg in the ground and swing it. anything can happen in that second and a half. You take the club back. I mean, something great or something terrible can come out the other side of that swing. So if you hit the ball 73 times, you hit it 73 times, and can't nobody take that from you.
All right, Mike, I'm going to take a quick little break here with a word from my presenting sponsor here. I'd like to thank my FOREBROS Golf Tour. All right, it is no longer a league. It is in the process of being FOREBROS Golf Tour. That's right. More info will be coming out later. Make sure you check us out on Facebook at FOREBROS Golf Tour. Also, we will be having a mixer. Also, the mixer will be happening on Thursday. It happens once a month at Cigars International. Make sure you check us out. We have great events. We have CTPs, proximities to the hole. We have net skins, gross skins. Also, we have new King of the Par 3. That is your total score on the Par 3. We have a side pot just for that. Make sure you check us out at FOREBROS Golf Tour on Facebook. Thank you so much for their support. All right, Mike. One of the last things right here, I want you to take us through a day as being a mini tour player. Take us through a day and as it starts, like when you're not at TPC, when you're away. Because one of the things I heard a lot of guys talk about was that, man, they carpool, they stay in hotels together, they bunk together, they room together to save and cut those costs. Take us through what a normal day for a mini tour player is that's not playing in their hometown.
Not playing in a hotel. So it starts. Actually, I was just talking to Montreal earlier this week. We're playing in St. Louis first week of September. I'm driving because I do not want to pay $600 or $700 for a plane ticket, then have to rent a car for 4 or 5 days for another $600. So I'm going to drive. I'll probably spend $400 in gas driving my own car. We try and split a lot of things. So Montreal and I are going to room together in a hotel, which I think it's going to cost total $450. So, for us, $225 a piece. He doesn't have to rent a car. Obviously, he can drive my car if he needs to go somewhere. So that saves him another $400 or $500. And we try and go to dinner together and really just be there for each other, support each other. That's the day in the life of a mini tour guy. Try and save some money where you can, and sometimes that means staying in a crappy hotel. Sometimes that means staying maybe somewhere a little bit nicer and getting to split it with somebody. So that's the grind of the mini tour life.
Worst hotel you've ever stayed at?
Oh man, I call it the dead way in. It's a roadway in. Actually, the tournament that I finished second in, I stayed in the roadway in Fort Pierce down in South Florida. I was laying in my bed and it was pouring outside. I could see the light in the water coming in under my door.
Oh, damn.
The tub was gray on the bottom. I took showers at the golf course. I literally went in there, laid down, went to sleep, and I spent as much time away from that place as I could. It was cheap though. I might have spent like $180 for the 4 nights I was there.
Hey, that's a deal, man. You know what? I'm gonna write that down. So next time I'm out there in South Florida, that's gonna be where I take my family to.
No, don't do that. You might get in big trouble taking the family special. They might leave you there by yourself.
Hey, all right, Mike. Last question here as we wrap up. It's a question I always ask all my guests. Who are you playing your final round of golf with?
Final round of golf. Definitely my dad. Tiger Woods. And who's the last person? Oh, gotta be Jordan. Yeah, it's gotta be Jordan.
Oh, that's good. That's a good foursome.
I want to hear the trash talk between Jordan and Tiger, man. I just want to soak it all in. There's so much knowledge in that group, just on being an athlete, being a golfer, being successful. There's a bunch of stuff that I can learn from that. And obviously, my dad is a big reason I play sports, and a big reason that I try to continue to be better and do better, especially with playing sports. And so, yeah, he definitely got to be in the foursome.
All right, Mike. Thanks so much for your time, man. Hey, good luck at the Oklahoma State Open. And man, thank you for being such a good dude in this game of golf here in San Antonio. You're a huge ambassador, not only for Blackbird, but for the San Antonio area, man. And you know what? It's easy to see why a lot of people root for you, man, and why you have a lot of people in your corner, dude. You're such a good dude, and keep putting good stuff out there, man. And we're rooting hard for you, brother.
I appreciate it, Andy. Thanks for having me again. Man, this podcast is dope, man. Keep doing your thing.
Thanks, man. I'm going to try, man. You have a good night, brother.
Thanks. You too.
I really want to thank Mike for being on the show tonight, and I want to thank my FOREBROS for their sponsorship and their continuing support of the podcast. Make sure, guys, you check me out. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. I'm on all the social media platforms for the most part. Remember, guys, in the game of life, nothing